did you hear Adam Schefter talking about the Bill Belichick thing, and he was comparing it to Tom Brady?
Yes.
Schefter has got to be on some kind of Belichick payroll because he was saying, by the way, Tennessee's hiring the offensive coordinator from the Bengals.
Right.
And so that's another job that's gone. And he's like, there's no interest in Belichick. It's only Atlanta. And Atlanta apparently knows this. But Schefter's whole point, and there you have to figure, John's been closer to the journalism side of things than anyone else. But Schefter trades in information. So if Schefter knows everyone's listening, he's like, this is just like the Brady thing. It's impossible now to remember, but only San Diego and Tampa Bay were interested in Tom Brady. And if you're looking back, you're thinking, why weren't more teams interested? He says, quote, this is the greatest coach of all time. This is just like the Brady situation. Why are more teams not interested?
Seth Wickersham told us the exact same thing when we had him on 2 weeks ago.
So this can't, but if you're Schefter, you're not an editorial, like you don't editorialize. Like your job is just to report insider information.
He knows specifically, he has, not factual, but I mean, he's spoken to the people. He's not talking
but
hypotheticals.
But he is talking in hypotheticals. He's talking in reality that there's only one team interested in him, but he's editorializing that more teams should be interested in him. That's got to be because Belichick's always getting him information, right? If you traded information,
he's speaking to both sides. He'd say teams don't want him in Belichick. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
No, I don't know if you do. I'm saying that he is the fact is only the Falcons are interested in him. The editorializing is saying more teams should be interested in him.
Yeah, Schefter is doing Belichick's bidding here by saying everyone should want to hire him. The Falcons should have hired him already. Schefter is using his platform just to put,
in such an obvious fashion. So now I don't believe anything Schefter says. I think everything that Schefter says is through the lens of helping Belichick. So we'll talk, because for a team, by the way, for a team that is that, how many job openings are there now? 4?
I think there are 4 left.
4 left. So, the Falcons are certainly screwing around.
And what's happening in Atlanta, I think what happened with any team, in that the pushback is coming from other front office people who are just trying to protect their jobs. They don't want an authoritarian like Bill Belichick coming in.
Or maybe I don't want a 72-year-old guy. Maybe with a bad recent track record.
Decent
there's Vrabel, who's 48, and there's Jim Harbaugh, who just won a national championship, who has taken a San Francisco team to the Super Bowl. There's 2 candidates that are better than Belichick that you've talked to. So, I mean, if you were advising Arthur Blank and you brought in Vrabel, Harbaugh, say Harbaugh's just crazy and he's difficult to deal with. But there's Vrabel, Harbaugh, Belichick, Ben Johnson from the Lions, who's interviewing for all these. He's interviewed after the game, in the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah. There are 5 left. There are 5 left.
Yeah, so, but if I'm Atlanta and I can talk to all these guys, I'm walking away and thinking Belichick's the best choice. And if I thought he was the best choice, why have I not hired him already? They obviously know no one else wants him. They obviously know they can putter around. But it makes me feel, why has no one pulled the trigger on Harbaugh or Vrabel yet? Go ahead.
I think the reason Atlanta has not pulled the trigger yet is that the owner wants him badly. We've talked about this before. Usually it's the reverse. You meet with the front office and then the owner signs off on it. Belichick met with the owner. The owner sold Bill Belichick on his franchise, but then he went to his front office, and the front office was like, this is a mistake. You can't hire this guy, specifically for the reasons we just discussed. He's older. The last 4 years have shown that it was more Brady than he. You're crazy. You really need to talk to all of these other candidates first. So Atlanta is still looking, even though they're the only team that's met with him. Carolina has an opening. He's not going there. Chargers have an opening.
I don't think he's going.
Seattle has an opening, and the Commanders have an opening. 5.
Yeah. So we know he's not going to the Commanders. We know he's not going to Carolina. It's probably 99.9% sure he's not going to the Chargers.
Seattle just got rid of their own 72-year-old guy.
Yeah, it was 74-year-old guy. I mean, you're not replacing Carroll with Belichick. Nope. So really, Atlanta's the only place. I mean, we know Washington. It's not Washington. If anyone is, I mean, guys are staking their reputation on it's not Washington. In fact, I bet you Washington hires Ben Johnson the day that the Lions get.
But that's the thing.
This Sunday night.
If Harbaugh comes back to the NFL, he's getting one. Ben Johnson's getting one. There are so many young coordinators now that are getting job chances.
So Belichick might not end up coaching again.
If it's not Atlanta, that looks true.
If it's not Atlanta and he's not getting a job next year, I mean, he's a year off, and now you're hiring a 73-year-old. I mean, what's the oldest coach in the history of the NFL? Because it's not Marv Levy. Marv Levy wasn't 73.
No, Levy was gone before now.
Yeah, he was
and he was considered ancient at the time.
So Carroll, I believe, was 73 or 74.
Romeo Crennel was 73. George Halas, 72.
Halas
Marv
owned the
Levy,
team, right?
72. And Pete Carroll and Belichick are essentially the same age. Carroll's a few months or maybe a year older.
All right. So, yeah, you're already pushing being the oldest coach of all time. I mean, how are you selling that to your fan base?
You're not, and you're not selling it to the front office. No one wants to lose their jobs. Everyone's convinced that Belichick's going to bring in a bunch of people, whether it's high-level staffers, draft people, assistant coaches. Heard that both of the Belichick boys, Brian and Steve, are waiting to see where Dad goes before they give Gerard Mayo an answer. Everybody's just convinced around the league, wherever Bill goes, like any head coach would do, he's going to bring a bunch of his own staff there. So this is going to happen with any team, but especially with Belichick, who, because of his age, number one, and number two, I think it's fair to question whether or not he's still the best guy for the job, any job, anywhere. He's still the best coach.
You'd want a multi-year plan. How, especially Atlanta, who's not in the business of winning a Super Bowl right now, where would you do both of you have living parents?
Yes.
My mom is.
I do.
Okay.
I have two living parents.
How old's your mom? How old are your people's living parents?
My mother turned 80 on Sunday.
Young lady. Younger than my parents. How old are your parents?
Dad is 86. Mom is 83.
All right. My parents are 81. Can you imagine your parents standing in front of 52 guys in their 20s that are professional athletes from various backgrounds?
No.
I mean, it's insane. Like, there's no way. There's no way. You know how many generations of popular culture and, like, vernacular and I mean, when I coach my daughter, like, the rules have changed so much from the 80s and 90s. Can you imagine how much things have changed since the 60s, the 50s and 60s? I mean, there's no way. There's no way. Like, you're, like, legit not allowed to yell anymore. Like even yell, like, encouragement in the Newton area. Like, you're basically just supposed to sit there. You're supposed to sit there. So which is fun, which I don't even care, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about it. My son plays varsity high school basketball, and I was at his game yesterday, and I was thinking, like, the refs, like, talk back to the coaches, like the high school coaches, like there's, like, it's completely different. They're like, everything is completely different. Like, the refs sort of, like, are in charge now. Like they're kind of like the bosses, like, of the, like, everything. Like, the refs, like, talk to the crowd and, like, talk back. Like, if you did that when I was in high school, there would be a fight. Legitimately might be a fight. And that's stupid, like, looking back on it, but it's true. Like, they're like, you guys got to have a psycho coach. Well, maybe you did. But psycho coach, but I mean, like, the hard-ons that, like, played for your high school team that, like, were assisting, they would have lost their effing minds. Like, the basketball coaches used to all, like, emulate Bobby Knight. I heard Hurley's kid, he's UConn, right?
Yes.
So, like, he's still kind of like that.
He's nuts.
Yeah.
Danny Hurley is absolutely nuts.
He's a little old school, but, like, I heard Danny Hurley talk, and that's how, like, every coach used to talk. Danny Hurley's like, we're going to destroy you. And you think, like, well, you're playing basketball. Really, what are you going to do? I mean, there's rules.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, we're going to kill him and, like, this stuff. But that was the mentality, even at, like, a youth level back then. So my point is this, is that I can't imagine if you think about your own parents, you think about people, like, just, it's insane. Like, day in and day out, someone who's 72 standing and talking to a 23-year-old kid from, like, Compton, there's just, you're from a naval or quasi-naval background from the 60s. There's no way. There's no way. It's a bridge too far. And that's why they hired Mayo. And that's probably why they fell in love with Mayo. Mayo was probably a very nice gatekeeper between the players and Belichick, and that ended up being a problem. Don't you agree? I would agree. Thank you. And remember, your anal skin is like an accordion. All right.